Welcome to TCTV, the artistic creations of musician, songwriter, singer, and producer of the AI singers, Timothy Critchley. Flying Turtle Music Frequency, and TCTV is dedicated to bringing you, our faithful fans of Living Well, original music and stories for and about the rest of us. Tonight, on TCTV, we get to interview Mr. Timothy Critchley, owner and CEO of Flying Turtle Music Frequency, producer of this show and many others on TCTV. The Timothy Critchley YouTube channel brings to you, our loved fans of Living Well, art, music, dance, and many more original creations from the heart of Timothy Critchley. So, first question, we've been told you've been creating art and music since 1964 and never done an interview before. Would you speak to that?
Interview? I never wanted to do an interview. Thank you, Cindy, my AI. I taught her everything she knows. Just like human beings, when we came out of the cave, or Adam and Eve, or whichever you choose to follow, we all had to learn, had to be trained, had to survive. Just ask the dinosaurs. But as far as this goes, AI, Cindy, my MC, AI, and I'm loving that stuff. It took me a long time to get used to that, but I played in a restaurant, several restaurants here lately, and I noticed that not only the adults, the moms and dads and everything, but the children, they come into a restaurant and they very seldom even actually carry on a discussion with one another. They're all looking at their screens in one way or another. So, if musicians, i.e. Spotify and so on, want to continue to make a living and pass their message along and get stuff done, AI and videos, sound, everything they listen to is all digital sound. They watch everything on their screens is digitized, programmed, and just like humans. So anyway, I was born in Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona. My parents raised 6 children to adulthood and beyond through a very difficult time. And so anyway, when I was about 10 years old, my parents had tried to give all kids, all their children, lessons, dance lessons, music lessons, so on and so forth, and everything. And of course, none of it took on any of them. Well, Mary danced, Margaret danced, Jim played drums, Bill played guitar, and Bill was 15 years older than me. He was the oldest. I'm the baby. And Bill taught me 3 chords. I went over to his house one day, and in Arizona during the summer, all we wore was our cut-off Levi's. And that was it. No shirt, no shoes, no nothing. So I walked up to his house, and I heard him playing guitar. And I went inside. He was playing an electric guitar, a lot like one I've got over here. And I went, wow. And he says, hey, you want to play it? And he handed it to me. Well, it was an electric guitar. And no shirt, no shoes or anything. I'm standing on the floor. And when I grabbed it, I got a buzz off of the strings. And I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to get a buzz. So he taught me 3 chords. And he said, if you seriously want to learn how to play guitar, you'll learn the rest on your own. So I did. We moved from Douglas to Tucson because work ran out. And my dad had to transfer. He worked on the railroad, Southern Pacific Railroad, and so his work, he had seniority. He did a job in Tucson, got a house, and we moved up there. But we moved at the end of the school year, at the beginning of the summer, and I knew absolutely nobody in Tucson. So I stayed in my room and learned how to play guitar. During that time, my parents knew that I didn't know anybody, so they got a membership at Arizona Inn there in Tucson, where you could go and had swimming, you could play tennis, run around in the grass, had a snack bar, and so on and so forth, and a lot of kids went there. So got me a membership there, and while I was there, I met Mike Stearns and Jim Staples. And Mike Stearns was a guitar player, and Jim Staples played bass and had a Hammond B3 organ in his living room that would just knock your socks off. But anyway, when I started to go to school, we tried over that summer to get a little band together, and I think we called ourselves, or I called us, or whatever, the Vandals. And we had a drummer, Mark Slobe, who is still in Tucson, hell of a drummer. I believe Mike Stearns is in Santa Fe. I think Jim Staples is still in Tucson. We eventually got a bass player, Jim Jewell, who I really liked, and I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. Mike Parrott was the drummer that I found when I went to St. Peter and Paul School that following semester. And I met him and had him come over. And when he started playing, it was scary because we played Wipeout. Everybody knew it, and it was the song of the day. And when he started in on Wipeout, the drum part, it sounded like a freaking waterfall. Yeah. Anyway, his whole family, Mike Parrott's whole family, was in the Tucson Symphony Orchestra, and he eventually got in the Tucson Symphony Orchestra. And what they do to audition for the Tucson Symphony Orchestra, again, just blew my socks off. But anyway, we formed a little band, and we called it the Breakers, and we started playing around town all over Tucson at that age, and we got a opportunity through our manager, Dan Peters. And I'm not going to remember the other guy. They had teen clubs in Tucson and Phoenix. Anyway, Dan Peters managed us, and he finally got us into Copper State Recording Studio there on Broadway, or used to be on Broadway. I don't think it's there anymore, which is a very cool recording studio. And so at 14, 15, 16, Mike Parrott may have been a year or two younger than me. I'm not certain on that. I'd have to look that up. But anyway, we got in Copper State Recording Studio and recorded our first 45 on Moxie Records. And Jim Arnold was a DJ at the time and lives a radio station down on the Miracle Mile somewhere. And so we did some jingles for him or something. It's a great J.A. and the Swingin' Soiree. So when our record came out, he was going to put it on, be the first one to put it on, and he did. We were down at the radio station, and he said, okay, I'm going to play that thing and debut this record in 10 minutes or so. So we all went out and got in. Mike Stearns could drive, and I think he was driving his mom's Plymouth or something. I don't know. I'd have to think about that too. Anyway, so we drove around the neighborhood, and here it comes. Jim Arnold introduced our record and our name and everything. We were from Tucson, yada yada, and played it, and it was really cool. It was a cool time. And Breakers and Dearly Beloved, I believe we were both managed by Dan Peters at the time, because we played a lot of the same gigs and kind of followed in their footsteps in a lot of ways. Shep Cook, Larry Cox. I'll get to Larry Cox, and that's another sad story we'll talk about. But anyway, and then we took our little record on tour and went out and played all over everywhere. And I remember why I wasn't old enough to drive is because when we went out on the road, I rode in the back of an El Camino with the bass equipment, some of the amplifiers and stuff from town to town where we went. So that was exciting. And I mostly want to do this for my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and everybody else's. Um, just point of information. Because while everything is digitized these days, it didn't used to be that way. And that's cool. I mean, we evolve. We do things, which is the point of the AI. Cindy, my AI, is everything gets digitized these days. And artificial intelligence. And the funny thing for me about all that is human beings are the same way. We didn't know, we didn't have all the things that we have available to us today when we first began. We had to be trained. We had to be taught. We had to learn. We had to evolve and take things. And this is just the next evolution, is everything being digitized and everybody knows everything or can know everything. And then you have those people that don't. And when you chasm between human beings, different, you got problems. So anyway, my whole deal was music. I learned when we moved, and I didn't have anything else to do but play my guitar and learn how to play guitar. I also learned how to write songs because I figured out real quick that was my major therapist. Not knowing at the time that what a trauma it is, which for everybody should think about this, for a child my age, because that's the only thing I can relate to is what happened to me at that time with 10, 11 years old, to move away from everything that they had ever known in their life, all the people, the town, the streets, the D Hill, everything that went on in Douglas, Arizona. That's what I knew. I knew how to speak Mexican because my dad told us, you live here, these are the people you live with, and you better learn to speak the language. So, which wasn't a positive end result when we moved to Tucson. Um, anyway, beyond all that, that became my therapy. That's the way I was able to express myself. And I'll play some of this. Anyway, I'm going to not end this session, but let me show you a guitar. This is like the first guitar I ever had that I got from my family. I found it down in Crane, Missouri, and for $60. And I didn't play it like this at the time. And actually, I put this Dean Markley pickup in here so I can, whatever. But anyway, and the strings on these things back in Sears sold these. And I'm not sure if it was Kay or Harmony or who built them, or maybe all of the above. And Sears sold them. And for younger than me, Sears and Roebuck used to be a pretty major deal. Department store. Sears catalog. You could order stuff at Christmas time from your Sears catalog. So anyway, the song I'm going to play in the background here as this continues is Once More by the Breakers. It was our first record, well actually our only record, on Moxie Records. Written and recorded right there in Tucson, Arizona. And then we took it on the road, and then